Hello guys, how's it going? Rubber Kitty here. Lovely, beautiful morning. Got up a little later today. Just wanted to chill in the bed for a little bit. You know how it is. Nice relaxing stretch. Get up in the morning. Anyway, you are not A or N. A lot of people like to tell people what they are and what they aren't. And there's a few people that says, they are not a dom or a sub, and even I've said that too. And people say, well, how are you judging? I said, well, I'm judging according to what I feel is my, principles, idea of what is a dom or a sub. And to me, it presents differently what other people present. Obviously, different points of view, different contexts. For some people, I've come across saying, this person does dom really well and all that sort of other stuff. But for me, it's, I don't kind of view them as that. And a lot of people called me judgmental and said, well, yeah, okay, fine, I'm judging them, but I'm not being judgmental because I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. Because my idea, my thoughts about, various different labels are different from a lot of others. So that what seems to be more dominant for one person would be not considered dominant. Not that saying that it's submissive, because if I'm saying, okay, I don't consider that dominant, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're submissive. One doesn't necessarily equate the other. It just, for me, it's not appealing on that level. And a lot of people because they aren't giving the impression, the look, they're not dressing in a certain way, they're not doing certain things that they say is inherently dominant, but they're not dominant. And that's a whole lot of BS, because it's contextual, it's on a sliding scale, and there's quite a few things. There are quite a few key things that are inherent, but the extreme, or to the extent to which those appear, will be different for different people, and a lot of people will view that differently. Such as if a person sort of acquiesces on a few things, some will say, oh, they're just being submissive and they're not dominant. But then I say, well, hang on a second, what is this person really like in their everyday life? And those things that they're acquiescing on, does it really matter to them? Can they be asked, saying, no, I want it my way, or the highway on those particular issues? Chances are it's oh, well, I'll take it or leave it, and it's not really that important to me. Now, for some people, what they say is an S, that's really an S sort of thing, that they're being submissive, but I don't think so. I think they're making a conscious choice on whether, or deciding whether to make a point of it or not. And quite often, people that want to live the life that they want to live are more dominant in that way. However, people display dominant and submissive characteristics on a sliding scale. There's very rarely a person who is at the extremes. And I see this a lot, where a lot of people say, oh, I'm naturally dominant. I'm like, well, are you naturally dominant, or is that just the way you are because you're usually a male? Not always, but just life circumstances and the way you're brought up means that you have had to be dominant. So are you naturally dominant because of that, or are you just dominant because there are certain things and certain ways in which you think that mean you will change your environment to suit you? And that's the thing. A dominant person doesn't have to be, the whole Christian Grey, head of corporations, head of a team all the time. A dominant can also be the person that sits there quietly, does their own thing, and they might not have the biggest job, they might not have huge amounts of money or the highest position. They could just be the person that's just living their life the way they want, and who are we to say otherwise? So, who do you know, or are you more dominant personality, slide more towards the dominant scale of the spectrum? What characteristics do you think display that? what characteristics don't you think display that? Now, are they inherently dominant or submissive? Or is that just the perception that people get? And then look around and see other people. There are some people that will be like, oh, they don't seem that dominant, and yet their life, what they're doing, how they live, they just seem to have everything that goes their way without a whole lot of, plotting and scheming and backstabbing and stuff. They're just upfront people. They do their thing, and for some reason, all things change to fall into place. They don't have to be manipulative. They don't have to badly manipulative. They don't have to scheme and plot and stab people in the back. They don't have to play victim. They're just doing what they do, and for some reason, people just follow them. Or people will do what they say. There's a lot that comes into that. Anyways, a lovely, lovely morning. Smell of grass being watered. It's very awesome. Catch you guys later. Bye.